Good evening, everyone. Chaz Stevens here. Citizen, activist, gadfly, pain in the ass, taxpayer, and of course, beer maker.
Ah, yes, Chaz Stevens, not only a beer maker, but an American hero who resides in Tallahassee, Florida. He has decided to take the right wing's cancel culture in his home state and twist it to fit his own narrative, and I absolutely love it. So he is in a tizzy over the fact that conservatives in Florida have been banning books in public libraries, books that they don't like, books that tend to deal with issues pertaining to race and sexual identity. And so he decided, well, since these new Florida laws empower residents in the state to petition to ban certain books, why don't I participate? And that's exactly what he did. He filed a petition to ban the Bible from public libraries. In petitions sent to public school superintendents across the state, Chaz Stevens asked the districts to immediately remove the Bible from the classroom, library, and any instructional material, Stevens wrote in the documents. Additionally, I also seek the banishment of any book that references the Bible. He says, my objection to the Bible being in your public schools is based on the following 7 points offered for your learned consideration. And then Stevens, of course, proceeds to question whether the Bible is age appropriate. For anyone who's read it, not so much, pointing to its casual references to murder, adultery, sexual immorality, and fornication. Do we really want to teach our youth about drunken orgies, he asks in the petition? Now, I love this, I love him, and he's had a long history of activism. It's very similar to what we're talking about right now. We're gonna show you some examples, and believe it or not, he's actually been successful in carrying out these stunts. They end up working. He also took issue, by the way, to many biblical references to rape, bestiality, cannibalism, and infanticide. In the end, if Jimmy and Susie are curious about any of the above, they can do what everyone else does. Get a room at the Motel 6 and grab the Gideons.
Grab the Gideons.
Jeez, he's amazing.
Grab him by the Gideons. So look, the article says that he's doing this tongue in cheek, and obviously he loves doing it in a humorous way. But there is a serious point there.
Yep.
There's a very serious point. The Bible, very likely, not under our rules, but under the right-wing rules, should be banned. There are literal orgies in the Bible. People sleep with prostitutes nonstop in the Bible. And there's over-the-top violence, but I know the right wing doesn't mind the violence, but they mind the sex, right? I mean, they're talking about, in a math problem, there might have been race or sex or something, right? In the Bible, there's nonstop sex.
No, it's an episode of The Sopranos. Like that's what the Bible is. No, but before we give you specific examples from the Bible to really make our point and help, bolster the point that this wonderful activist is making here, I do want to explain what really set him off. Because I'm sure Stevens was annoyed from the very beginning as books having to do with race or the LGBTQ community were being banned. But once they started attacking the math, that's when Stevens had had enough, okay?
Love this guy.
So the 57-year-old Deerfield Beach man says his ire was stoked after Florida lawmakers decided this month to ban 54 math books that were claimed to have incorporated topics such as critical race theory. I love the algebras, says Stevens, who studied applied mathematics in college. And those Tallahassee loons just banned a bunch of arithmetic books. I love it. He referred to them as Tally loons, which I didn't know was a nickname for people from Tallahassee, but it sounds fun.
The right wing from Tallahassee, apparently it is. So if it wasn't before, it is now. I love the word algebras. This guy's awesome, man. As usual, we ask the right wing, can you please make up your mind? Do you want the books banned or don't you want them banned? If you want them banned, if you have any sense of factual consistency, you must ban the Bible. Not my rule, it's your rule.
Now, I had mentioned that his activism has worked in the past. And of course, we're talking about Florida where conservatives manage to do certain things that are questionable, especially when the government isn't supposed to be endorsing a specific religion. And so I wanna talk a little bit about what he did. So Florida, especially in South Florida, they were having these government meetings. They would start these government meetings with a prayer. And he found that objectionable because, again, you're not supposed to be doing that. And so he started petitioning to be allowed to do his own Satanist prayer in the beginning of these government meetings. And since the government is not allowed to endorse one religion or the other, they had no choice but to offer him the space to do his Satanist prayer. So I'm gonna give you an example of what that Satanist prayer looked like, and then I'll tell you what the aftermath was. Let's take a look.
Chaz Stevens, a Jupiter resident and self-proclaimed minion of Satan, has asked to lead invocations to Satan at area commission meetings in South Florida cities after the U.S. Supreme Court ruling in May 2014 that allows prayer at city and county commission meetings. After 2 years of applying to lead an invocation, Stevens was finally accepted by Lauderdale by the Sea.
Open the gates of hell to come forth so as to greet us, though who hath understanding, as your brothers, your sisters, and elected officials. Deliver us, the good residents of Lauderdale by the Sea, people of Broward County, and this august body, almighty Satan, from all past error and delusion.
Everyone in that room was so uncomfortable. It was so great. It was so great. Real quick, you know what ended up happening? A bunch of these government meetings decided to drop the prayer.
Of course they did. No, look guys, for people who are atheists, we don't get it. For religious people, they think Satan is real. So when he's doing that Satan prayer, they're scared Satan's gonna come in the room. That's why they're like, well, sick. They're like, we gotta get out of here. Here comes Beelzebub. Here comes Beelzebub, and they're worried about it. They're worried about it. Look, the cops are worried about it. The cops are like, oh, Jesus, Lord, mercy.
Don't shoot anyone. Don't shoot anyone.
Okay.
We thought Satan came in. We thought he had a gun. Yeah, no, I mean, come on.
So, okay, great job on that video, by the way. We're gonna read you the Bible quotes as well. For our religious viewers, I love you guys. And there's a wonderful side of religion. I say it every time. We help the poor, the needy. I've seen wonderful Christians do it, wonderful Muslims, Jews, etc. do it. And so there's great sides. But if you take it literally, it leads to these kind of absurdities. And that is what fundamentalists do. They take it literally. So
yeah, and look, the point that I want to drive home, and I hope everyone understands this distinction, okay? I have no interest in being needlessly antagonistic toward people of faith, okay? I genuinely believe in what this country is supposed to support, which is religious liberty. And that includes the freedom to not be religious, right? So I would, if anyone tried to do away with people's religious liberty, their ability to have faith, I would fight against that, even though I'm not a person of faith. With that said though, you practice your faith, let me practice my non-faith. You know, let us live in this country as free human beings. But I do want to give you some specific examples from the Bible that you might not want your kids to read about. So let's go to Genesis, where that portion of the Bible says, Judah said to Onan, sleep with your brother's wife and fulfill your duty to her as a brother-in-law to raise up offspring for your brother. But Onan knew that the child would not be his. So whenever he slept with his brother's wife, he spilled his semen on the ground to keep from providing offspring for his brother. What he did was wicked in the Lord's sight. So the Lord put him to death also.
Wicked. Although,
wicked, my bad.
Okay, whipped would be fun too. It would add to the story. We just got banned in the state of Florida for reading the Bible. This is way more graphic than any book that they pulled off the shelves in Florida. None of those books talked about spilling the semen all over the floor, having sex with your dead brother's wife, and doing the withdrawal method, and then God executing you for it.
Lots of animal cruelty also. If a man has sexual relations with an animal, he is to be put to death. And you must also kill the animal, although animals should be left alone. The animal didn't make that decision. Okay? Yeah,
but no, God says he did, and we're putting the animal. I got two more for you guys. This one's Exodus 4:24-26. We're doing Bible study today. At a lodging place on the way, the Lord met Moses and was about to kill him. Oh,
that's not
interesting.
Nice.
But Zipporah, interesting. I think that's the name of a website these days too. But Zipporah took a flint knife, cut off her son's foreskin and touched Moses' feet with it. Curious choice. Surely you're a bridegroom of blood to me, she said. So the Lord let him alone. So if you're having troubles with the Lord, cut off the foreskin, touch it to your feet. If you don't touch it to the feet, it doesn't count, okay? And then finally, we go to Ezekiel 23, 19, 20.
Oh, this is my favorite. It's very naughty.
This, if the Bible's in the classrooms, the kids could read this. And I'm telling you, if you got kids now, have them stop watching the video because this is about to get super dirty. Here we go, Ezekiel. Yet she became more and more promiscuous as she recalled the days of her youth when she was a prostitute in Egypt. There she lusted after her lovers, whose genitals were like those of donkeys and whose emission was like that of horses. Why are we talking about the emission of horses? Okay, so guys, you can get wonderful things out of the Bible, the Quran, the Talmud, the Bhagavad Gita, etc. But this stuff is also in there. If you think that's literally true, God bless. Okay, it is what it is. We live in a free country. You're absolutely allowed to believe that, okay? But I'm a little skeptical, okay, obviously. But if you're gonna ban books, because they mention sex, it is inarguable that you must ban the Bible.
Yep. And I am happy to hear that Chaz Stevens is not only an awesome activist, but he's a beer maker as well, along with being a taxpayer. So he's a good American. And I would love to have a beer with this guy. Oh,
yeah, absolutely. Next time we go to South Florida, maybe. And then the next time I get in trouble with the Lord, I'm gonna be like, hold on, I'm going to touch the feet with it. Okay.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, guys, I'm sorry, but come on, really? Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.